Hey, welcome back to Side Hustle Heroes HQ. We've got Andrew in the house as normal. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, how's it going? Podcast number 14, by the way, too.
There's Cody. He's in here with us again. So thanks, Cody, for joining us. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bud. Thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, man. Good. It's been a while since I talked to you.
Yeah.
It's been hours. Anyway, we're going to cover several things today. We're going to shake up the format just a little bit. We're going to hit our numbers a little bit more towards the center of the podcast, but you definitely want to catch them because that's part of why Cody's on here. We're going to dive into his numbers and we're going to really kind of talk about what's been going on with the influencer program lately. As you've probably noticed if you're in it, or probably heard if you know somebody that is, things have kind of been a little bit different, it will say, lately. Also, we're going to go over a Facebook question that has to do with some of my stuff that I am getting from overseas. And what else we got, Andrew?
I wasn't really listening, so I think you're probably fine.
Well, good. We're even because I'm not usually listening when you're talking either. All
Hey,
right.
Jim,
Well,
man,
cool.
by the way, just for our listeners and our watchers, let's come on, man. Let's be charged up here. Let's get kind of like, remember we talked about this, getting excited, energy. I've had
Oh man, my bad. Let me get over here on my energy drink.
I've been down in the basement drinking caffeine for the last couple hours. That's a reference to Saturday Night Live. Don't remember that. What is the guy? The inspirational speak. That's not what it is. What was that? Chris
living
Farley?
down by the river.
Yeah. So I've been drinking.
Yeah, living in a van down by the river.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to do this. So good energy.
Awesome.
Jim Ed, you feeling good? You know what? You're not at work no more. You're here to hang out, have some fun, talk about fun things. Influencer. Cody.
That is true. This is not work. Absolutely. Enjoy being here.
It's too fun. It's too fun. And podcast number 14, everybody. So I know those people out there, some of those people out there, you think our friend John, do you think he was doubting us that we get, you think he thought we'd get to number 14?
So remember I said John will never listen to it. That's why we were talking trash about him. He'll never hear it. Then it's like I run into him and he's like, hey, I've listened to a couple of your podcasts. And I'm like, oh, good. Because it's podcast 3 when we really start talking trash that he hadn't heard yet. Then he was like so apologetic because he was being a downer to our program. And I knew he was kidding around. So, of course, he makes us feel bad.
Yeah, he's probably proud of us. He's not listening to our podcast, I'm pretty sure, at this point, but I'm sure he's very excited about our podcast 14. And you know what? Who cares what podcast we're on? If you guys are getting value from this, it's awesome. So, but
one thing I would say to that, Andrew, is, John Von Runnen, if you are listening, we are not doing this just to rub your nose in it anymore. Okay. Not just for that. It's many. Well, okay. But anyway, what were you saying, Andrew?
I was going to say, the reason I'm bringing this up is that we sort of had a goal to hit podcast number 20 as a minimum,
21.
21. Okay. So get past 20, basically. So that's kind of what we're working towards, sort of our goal, and just to see what happens. And so it's been kind of fun.
We're almost done.
Yeah, we're almost there, and we have no idea where this is going to go. So we see our numbers are increasing every single week, which is great. We're getting some more people to our Facebook group. So it's exciting.
Appreciate y'all sharing that.
Like, when am I going to be on? He told me to be on right at the very beginning. Hello. But he's actually waiting. So, Jim Ed, this is your opportunity to pull in Cody.
So, yeah, Cody, we've been talking about some stuff here. Let's kind of go into it. You've been doing this since when?
So I think I made my first money, if you will, like July 7th, July 8th, something like that. Started out kind of slow, and then it kind of, I don't want to say hockey stick up, but I went from making $5, $6 a day. Then I was making like 30, 40 bucks a day. Right.
All right.
And by the end of the month, in the first month, I think I made $392, something like that. Right. So,
yeah, because I remember we were kind of talking, I hit 259. I started on the 5th of March. So it was my first day of making money. Your first day of making money was July 7th, right?
I think it was the 7th. Yeah. Either way, I did more in my first month than you did.
And that was the goal, right?
That's right.
Goal accomplished. Right. So how have the following months been as far as beating Jim Ed goal?
Not so good. Not so good. But so August, like end of July, beginning of August was like really steady. Like I was, not setting the world on fire, but between 15 and 30 bucks a day. Right. And you look at that and you go, I mean, that's pretty good little side money. And I really wasn't shooting videos at the clip that I had been, just getting ready for the kids to go to school and all that kind of things. A little bit distracted, right? But then, like starting this Sunday, the numbers just went through the floor. I had like a $3.51 day, and then I had maybe like a $2 day, and then I had a $4.51 day, and I'm like, okay, this juice may not be worth the squeeze, right? Like I mean, I've got 87 videos up, and I used to be making almost $30-$40 a day. Now I'm making $5 a day. It's not worth it. And then this morning I woke up and I'd rebounded back up to $29.51. And this month in August, I've already surpassed what I did in July. We've still got, a week or so left. So if my numbers will stay, I think I'm at like $392, $395 for the month.
So that's a really good comparison, because we've got about a week left in August as we're recording this.
Yep.
And you started a week into July.
Yeah, and a one-off of that, I think it was in July, I had a $100 day. I had a day where it just jumped up because I sold some big ticket items. And so I took a long time to say that while I was down a few days, if you remove those days, it's actually been trending up, but it just didn't feel like it for the last week. It was kind of like the air had been let out of the balloon. I was kind of like, yeah, I may be kind of over this.
And
but
Cody,
now that it's go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but Cody, how do you feel like when you saw those numbers? I think you texted me early this morning, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I got your text. I was like, what? It's like not even 6 yet.
Yeah.
But I remember you're like, man, numbers are back up. It's time to hit it again.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the tough thing about it is like, when you have a couple 4 or 5 days that are down, you're just like, is this really worth it? Like you said, you start questioning. But I think the way this is working so far, it seems like they seem to rebound. So it's like, I think the idea is just powering through it. So it's hard. I was the same thing. It's like, man, especially Jim Ed, he's been spending a lot of time hourly on this, right? So more than I certainly am, probably more than you as well, Cody.
Yep.
And so it's like, I think he was discouraged, but then when you all of a sudden you turn around and get a $400 or $500 day, it's like, I'm back. And like,
absolutely.
So it's hard though. But yeah, so what is a ton of mindset about that? Like, do you kind of like based on the fact that it's yo-yoing like this, and that they say the numbers are back again? It's not. It's back, but is it going to be back for today or tomorrow?
I think it let me know that it's not a straight line, right? Like success is not a straight line,
right?
And so there's going to be some ups and downs, and maybe don't let the highs be too high and don't let the lows be too low, and just kind of consistently set goals of I'm going to make videos. Because I mean I think I did 10 videos last week, but I didn't do anything the week before, and I haven't done anything yet this week. But I've got to cut. I'm out of town for work right now, but when I get back, I'll have some stuff to do at the house to shoot some more videos. I think consistency is just the key.
And welcome back.
You got a lamp behind you there.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, man. Sorry about that. I had a little. Did get some things covered in the pre-production meeting.
Yeah, you're right. I do have a lamp to shoot, don't I?
Yeah.
It's funny. I'll mention this, and I'm sure we've mentioned it before. Andrew probably quote the episode it was on. But Amazon Lens, a lot of people don't know about Amazon Lens, but it's a powerful search tool, and it seems to be getting better and better. You can throw that lamp on the Amazon Lens and can pretty quickly tell if that is a Amazon product or not, or available there.
Yep. That's really how I find everything now is Amazon Lens.
So Cody, we've talked a lot about this. 87 videos. It's not that much work, right?
Probably a little more than you think.
It really is, isn't it? I mean, that truly is the right answer. I mean, when you're on the outside looking in, if you're not in the program, you're not shooting videos, and there was that time, and there was on one of the my gimbal's not working with me. So if you're on the audio, everything's cool. But
we do have the affiliate link for that gimbal if you guys are interested. This is probably a good time to talk about. It's a solid product, and it sometimes has a mind of its own. So,
yep.
This thing,
you can pick that up for a bargain. We got 10% off. Link. I'm really kidding, but it is actually really good. Gimbals are good, but it's got a mind of its own today. It sounds like.
Yeah. For some reason it is definitely overheating or something. There, it's hot. We will get past these technical difficulties here really quick, though.
Luckily, most people are listening and not watching. So if you're watching, Jim Ed is his phone keeps on.
I'm back, baby.
Yeah,
it's already fixed. But no, I mean, what I was wanting to say is, if you're on the outside looking in and you're not really shooting videos, it doesn't seem like it would be that hard. But and I probably have 50 or so of my 420 something videos I have up weren't very hard at all. They were actually pretty easy, but then the rest of them, were not that easy. So that's kind of the nature of that deal there. Some of them are easy, a lot of them are not. The ones that are going to make money are probably not.
Well, if you have help, it's easy. Lots of times I'm doing this by myself, right? Like I'm using a tripod to hold my phone, make the video, part of the video with me in it, part of the video with me out of it. And then you have to edit the video and do all that. And, you may have to take 2 or 3 takes to get it right. And it just always takes a little bit longer than you think. But at the same time, there's some that I've not, the smaller items, knock them out in 1 or 2 takes and move on with your life.
Yeah. I noticed there's been, I mentioned this probably before, but one of my most expensive items I'm selling, it literally took me 2 takes. The only reason that the first one didn't go is because I think my microphone was messed up or something like that. So I did the second take and it went pretty good. It wasn't a great video, but good enough. And I've sold several of those. And every time I get a sale on that, it's like $20-$30 commission.
That's awesome.
So it doesn't have to be, just because it's more expensive, doesn't have to be necessarily the hardest thing you're going to review. But there's things that I spent more time on a $15 product probably for a supplier one time. I need to do a video. It took me probably 3 hours to do it, and it's like a $15 product. So it happens sometimes. It just really depends. But I think on average, the hope is that you're able to, Jim, you have a system now, you're able to kind of crank them out pretty quickly. You get organized and you just knock them out. I guess the more you do, the better you get at it. Hopefully you're not getting frustrated.
Yeah. And I definitely want to get into that during a later segment. So actually be sure and hang in towards the end, because I am going to talk a lot about what's going on with my China stuff, how it works, and some tips on that, and about being organized.
Yeah.
But so Cody, 87 videos in, you're pulling down, somewhere between $2 and $5 a day. And you're just kind of like, man, this wasn't, I beat Jim Ed the first month. This wasn't what I signed up for. I've heard that from you a little bit, along. Where are you at today on it? So what were your numbers today, and how do you feel about where you're at in the program today?
Today I was at $29.51. And when I look at it now, I'm remotivated, but maybe a little bit eyes wide open in that there's going to be ups and downs, right? So just don't really sweat that either way. I've learned I'm going to have to be consistent, in posting stuff. I have a tendency personality wise to take off like a wild man with my hair on fire and then 30 days fade, right? And now I'm just going to keep chopping wood and not worry too much, because listening to you guys talk and then having gone through it, Amazon is, constantly tweaking the algorithms and what's going on. So, it may change for a week and you may have a bad week or you may have a great week, but it's probably going to change again and kind of level back out. So that's kind of where I am now, is I've accepted that. And I'm kind of trying to look at this through a long-term lens of kind of just keep chopping wood and know that, probably won't be long and I'll be making $1,000 a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seasonality, from a seasonality perspective, it's only going to get better the longer it goes in the year. So September is going to be better, October, November even better, then December is going to be crazy. So I think, to me, it's like, this is the time, like with my FBA business, I'm stocking up now. I'm getting ready for Christmas already. So I think this is the same mindset, like get the videos up, and everything sells better during the holidays. It really does. I call the holidays kind of anywhere between October and December, even going to January. So my hope is that we're really everyone's going to get the fruit of the number of people. And if you haven't been, like, I've been on the other side of it doing this resell, it just goes crazy. So we're not the ones who are actually selling the products, right? We're actually doing videos, right? But there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on these videos. So I can't wait, and let's hope that. And I think we just got to go into it thinking that they're not going to tweak things to where we aren't going to make money. They're hopefully things are going to be moving around a little bit, but we're going to definitely get the fruit of the holiday season, is what I'm thinking. So that's motivation.
Yeah. And, like Cody mentioned earlier, and, I know you don't have any kids in school or anything, Andrew, and it doesn't affect you as much, school being in, but Cody and I do have school age kids, and man, it's just not explainable. You just have to experience. It's a whirlwind. And as far as like me doing projects, me ordering something off of Amazon to do a project, no, that ain't happening right now. And I do think that does affect things. As I've shared, I sell roofs or sell roofing materials to people who do sell roofs, and they're slowed right now. You don't want to get your roof put on in the middle of everything that's going on right now. So
right.
Something about the holidays makes people everyone's going to spend money, even if they're trying to tighten their belts. But right now,
Oh yeah,
they're like, shoot, we need to get ready for the holidays. Let's tighten our belts. Kids are in school. Let's just survive here. It's just survival mode in some way.
And along with that, Andrew, I mean, I don't watch the news. It's just all bad news, so I don't watch it. But we do some studies and we talk throughout most of the country, at least the western part of the Kentucky country, with my company. And there's a lot of layoffs going on across the country. Things aren't heading in the right direction. The significance is people are not buying things on Amazon right now. School's back. They've got to buy backpacks, shoes, clothes for their kids. And I didn't review hardly any of those items I just mentioned.
But overall, yes, this is a typical seasonality decline this time of year. But I'm seeing with my numbers, my Amazon numbers, I'm seeing things start picking up. People are getting ready for the fall, for cooler weather. I think, and some of the products I'm selling on my other business, they're lower price grocery products. So that's been doing really well. But with our Amazon influencer, it's more about more expensive stuff, ideally. So I think it's really interesting to see people are not buying expensive things right now. If they are buying grocery products online, that's great, but it's not really helping us right now with Amazon influencers for sure. So Cody, anything you're doing the interview in Gym Ed, but anything else, Cody, on your mind?
No, I mean, I think that's pretty much most of it is just, stay steady. I mean, because the numbers are going to fluctuate. You're going to have a day where you wake up and you make $100, and then you're going to have a day where you wake up and you made $2.
Right.
But just know it's the average that counts.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So, you've been trucking along doing this. Do you think that so you had a good July, you had a big day in July, probably tied to Prime Day.
Yep.
Right?
No, I sold some big ticket stuff.
Okay. All right. And then actually August is up over July, so you're up a little. You're not hitting that number you probably wanted to hit, but you're up.
Right.
Okay. Do you think now, and it's a small sample, so I know that, but do you think, well, let's back up just a second. Let's think about this. You had a handful of videos up in July compared to what you've got up now in August. Even though there's a lag, the stuff that you just put up isn't bearing any fruit yet.
Right.
So you're really not up like you really should be, are you?
Correct.
For what you've done.
Yeah. But again, there's that $100 day outlier in July as well. So I did 380, I think I said, in July. So, you bump that down to 280, but even still, it's not up as much as I would think. But I think a lot of that has to do with the last 4 or 5 days as well. Right. I mean, if I'd have kept, I'm sitting here looking at my numbers on August 4th, I was at $40. On the 7th and 8th, I was in the high 30s. So, and then it just kind of started coming down. Right. And so I think it'll trend back up. And I think, to answer your point, yes, I put in more work than what I'm seeing, but I think here in a week or two, I'm going to see it.
Hey, Cody, are you seeing your clicks going up? I showed you some of those Gym Ed and my numbers, so I don't know if you had a chance to look at all that, but it would be really interesting if you don't have them right now and you want us to take a look. I'd be glad to analyze the numbers and kind of tell you what I think is going on there. But
yeah, my numbers are down a little bit on clicks, but I'll send you a report.
I bet you your numbers are kind of similar to mine. I feel like
probably.
Yeah. But yeah, it is interesting. So when you're looking at your number, we'll get into this a little bit, but there's lots of numbers to look at, and it really helps for you to be aware of these numbers. Every once in a while, just run some simple metrics. You say, is my conversion rates, are they low? Are my clicks going down? Is my average, per sale going down? There's lots of really easy numbers you can pull. This data is available for us to look at. So I think it kind of helps us to see what's going on. In some ways makes us feel a little bit better. But the moral of that story is keep uploading videos, because things can change very quickly, and those videos are up there waiting to get people to watch. I've mentioned this multiple times that several several videos that fell off or just weren't getting any views at all. They're back. They're back now, a couple of them. And so I'm starting to get some revenue.
You know what? I had that too. I had something that was kind of one of my early good sellers, and then I didn't sell one for like over a month, and then I sold one yesterday.
Yeah.
So it somehow made its way back up.
Yep.
You know, I have a theory on that too, and it's just a theory, but in my opinion, some of the new stuff they've been doing, I've been seeing on the bottom carousel 10 videos again. They're not all for the product purposefully. They are other like products. So what Amazon's trying to do is go, hey, you're on the page, you're on the fence, you haven't decided if you're going to buy it. So, hey, look over here. Here might be some other products that you might want to close the deal on. So you may not be on the page that they're selling the product, but your video may be on a like page, and then they may click on that and actually buy that product, which would make it sound like you're back on the page of the original product you did the listing for, because that is what they bought, but you're still not actually listed. You're just listed on a like item.
Yep. That could very well be what's going on. Yeah.
I think that's happened with my sales today. I had something that I've been off of the listing for a while, and I had one sale today. It's a pretty big ticket item. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm betting that's what's happened.
And I mentioned this before, don't ever delete your video for that reason, right? So put up a new one, put up a new version of that video. Don't ever delete your videos thinking you might, whatever. It could show up somewhere else. So it's never a good idea. I can't think of, unless it's a terrible video you're embarrassed about, I wouldn't delete the video.
Yeah, the only time you have to do that really is whenever you got a product from China and you put it up on the wrong link, like I have before, and then they're like, hey, you put that up on the wrong link and you change it. And usually you can change it at the link. You can just retag it the correct one and delete the improper tag. But sometimes you can't, and you have to change something, and you try to leave both videos up, and then they start complaining, and then you have to delete the other one. But
yeah, usually you can untag. It's not a problem. Never had an issue with that. But
well, Andrew, do we want to cover anything else with Cody, or we want to let him go and dive into the Facebook questions? And I know you're going to do a deep dive into some numbers.
Yeah. So I think it's good, Cody. If you're, I don't have anything else. I don't have any questions for you, Cody. But thanks for joining us. And hopefully, if you're up for it, love for you to just kind of jump on in the future, as far as like if you have some insights about things, with Amazon influencer business. And even other side hustles you're a part of as well. So that's one thing too. Love to just kind of hear people's stories. And so I know we're talking about Amazon influencers, but we're not always going to be talking about that every single episode. So
true. And Cody, as far as setting goals, man, I think it's great. Congratulations on beating me on the first month. That's awesome, man. I'm real proud of that. What you should probably do though, going forward, since it's going to be a pretty tall drink of water after that, you may want to just concentrate on beating Andrew, because I think that's a hill that you can climb.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
You did beat me a couple days, Cody.
Yep. Y'all be good, guys.
Thanks again.
See you, Cody. Thanks.
Awesome. All right, guys. So we are back, and I always enjoy talking to Cody. He's obviously always very honest about things. So, Cody represents a lot of people who are just getting started with this. So I think it's good because you kind of see, you're looking out on the outside and saying, is it really worth it? So there's going to be some tough times. He's put some time, several hours into this. But I think at this point, he's like, yeah, it's worth it. So I would say strap in, get ready. I think it's going to get a lot better as far as like the seasonality. We talked about this already. So I'm in it. I'm staying where I am. I got my videos up. I'm going to definitely try to get some more videos up as well, even though I've got a lot of other pressing things I'm working on, other businesses I'm working on. I'm still going to, push for this, because it's definitely going to make it. It's gonna be really exciting when the
I think you should, Andrew. And I probably need to try to encourage you a little bit more on that. I know you're working hard on that FBA, and I know you're seeing the fruits of that. But you may need to try to peel off an extra half an hour or so a day to video creation. If you're getting you need to be probably at least averaging a video a day.
Yeah, what I love about, I want to get some FBAers on this podcast. And if you're an FBA listening to this, I know there are some FBAers because we have some that we've invited. So what I love about that is right now with the FBA business, you can get cash strapped very quickly, because you're seeing sales come in, but you say, wow, these 50 products are selling really well. I got to go buy more inventory. They were selling 30 times a month. Now it's 60. So just whatever it is. And so you're like, where do I get my profits? And the Profit First is a book I've been reading, and I've listened. Actually, Jimmy Smith is one of the people that we've been helping to get onto Amazon influencers, but he actually has
a friend of ours. He's kind of famous, big YouTuber.
Yeah, and he had a couple of videos about. I was watching Profit First actually at midnight last night. I was just like engaged trying to listen to this. But anyway, my point is Amazon can be tough because it's hard to figure out where you carve out your profits. But what I love about this is when you get your $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, that's commission. That's money. Obviously, it will be taxed. It will be taxed, but that's it. You don't have to worry about pulling out cost of goods sold. You don't need to pull out other expenses from Amazon. It's that check. That's your disbursement. That's what we call a disbursement with Amazon FBA. You get the disbursement. You're like, oh, good. I made $10,000, but well, what about your cost of goods sold? You got to remove that. So that's what I love about this. And so I would love to be able to get between $2,000 and $3,000 every month from this. That would really help fuel that. Actually, might be really good money just that goes right directly into our account, because since it's my full-time income right now, and I just work on reinvesting the rest of the stuff into Amazon FBA. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Cool. So Jim Ed, the numbers, I ran some numbers this morning. They're really basic numbers, but pretty eye-opening, because we were talking today. I was really curious. Hey, the numbers have been low. They went up today. And I was just curious, Jim Ed, how have you been doing since June? And so you gave me some numbers, some raw numbers, and I just ran some metrics.
Hey, before we jump into that, I mean, I know you've got some really detailed stuff, and I haven't even gotten a chance to talk to you about it. I know I got you that information this morning, and you've really, spent a little time on analyzing it. Let's go ahead and do, for the audience, our normal yesterday, 7-day, 30-day, and then we'll do that deep dive into some comparisons. Because also I'd like to say, looking at other Facebook pages and different things like that, there's something going on. Amazon is tinkering with some things on top of some definite seasonality. It's hard when I've been doing this since March to figure out what's going on. Now that the summer season is getting into the rearview mirror, I've already thinking of things for next year that we can do to be ready for the summer season. So right now I've done a Halloween video already, and there's going to be some stuff like that's going to go on. And it's like, oh yeah, we're coming. Don't forget about this season that's happening. It's easy to forget some of that stuff. So you want to kick us off with your yesterday, 7-day and 30-day numbers, please, sir?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was at $54, and it was nice to see that again, because I've been kind of pretty low, some single digit days, some in the teens and 20s, and wasn't really sure what to expect today, but had a couple products that have been selling that I haven't sold lately, but I sold those again, like $1,000 camera sold. So that was really cool to see, making some decent numbers again. So that it could just be an outlier though, because I had a couple of things, those big ticket products that you don't sell those every day, but I'll take it. Past 182, that's well below my average. And I was close to 300 in the past. And then past 30 days, I'm at 1,006. I'm still trending above 1,000, but I will tell you right now, I'm not going to hit $1,000 in August. And for those listeners, first-time listeners, this is not, it's not meant to be an excuse, but my attention has really changed to. Wait, you're shaking your head, Jim Ed. Should we cut that out?
No, leave it in, buddy.
All right. So my attention's really shifted to Amazon FBA because I'm hitting some really hard numbers right there. So just real quick, I know this is not meant to talk about Amazon influencer numbers, but my Amazon FBA numbers, I was trending at maybe 20 to 30 sales a day for a while. And now I'm 60, 70, 80, pretty close to 80 sales. Units sold a day in my Amazon business. So that's been really exciting. But I just have a long way to go, because I realized, based on what I was saying earlier, in order to make a full-time living from Amazon FBA, you have to make a lot of sales. So I've got about 4 times probably what I'm doing now to really be comfortable with it. But it's been fun. It's heading the right direction, and I'm spending a lot of time on it. So that's what my focus is. But I can certainly carve off some time for Amazon influencer, because this is just too good. It still really is. Jim Ed, when you wake up and you realize, oh my gosh, I just made 400. Well, actually, it's a good segue into your numbers. When you talk about that numbers you made this.
Well, hey, before we get into that though, I wanted to ask you on your FBA. So when is it you went full time on FBA? About
literally Oh, full time. The day after I got laid off.
I know, but when I wasn't wanting to like bring up your layoff, I know it's a sore spot. So
that's not a sore spot at all. But I mean, I've
I'm
talked
just
a
kidding.
lot.
I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah. Too soon.
So when was the layoff?
I don't know. It was like early June.
Okay. And so from June until
About 2 months ago.
say third week of August when we tape this, have you come close to doubling what you were doing in FBA, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you doubled the amount of ASINs that you've added?
Yeah. Yeah. I've almost, I've definitely doubled, more than doubled. And that's the thing about it is it's weird about Amazon influencers. It's like you can double it. It's like where are the revenues? But with Amazon, if you choose wisely, your numbers should absolutely go up when you have the right ASINs up, the right.
Okay. So you said from what you're doing today to be comfortable, you'd like to be quadruple where you're at today, right?
Yeah. So let's give you just a rule of thumb. Let's just do some basic numbers here. Okay. So this is not our situation, but say you're comfortable with $5,000. Like say your paycheck after taxes, it used to get in was $5,000 a month. Okay. So it's $60,000 a month. Okay. So you're like, okay, cool. So I've been
$60,000 a year. Yep.
Yeah. So to get there, so basically the way this works is when you're Amazon business, once you get that disbursement from Amazon, take your cost of goods sold out, and you're like, oh, I've got $5,000 I've made. Wow, that's great. So I have $5,000. Not so fast because you got to buy more inventory, right? So in general, the rule of thumb is with first profit first. You do pay yourself profits. You pay there's 5% profit, and so you pay yourself also maybe 25%. Let's just say easy numbers. You get that $5,000 disbursement. You're really only supposed to take about 30% of that because you have other expenses you got to pay, right? So technically, you could say with Amazon, do you have expenses for your Amazon influencer business? Sure. But FBA, there's lots of expenses. There is supplies, you have workers, lots of things like that. So you're left with $1,500, 5,000 times 30%. It's not $5,000 profit, it's $1,500 profit. So to make that $5,000, to really truly have that $5,000, you need to make a lot more than $5,000, right? So that the idea is if you want to make $5,000, you're going to get a lot closer to $15,000 profit you should be making. Does that make sense, everybody? Does it make sense, Jim?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have a certain goal in mind, and I'm heading towards that goal, and I'm just going to get there as quickly as possible. But what I did realize is I'm trying to grow as fast as possible this year, but I'm going to take a step back probably in January and say, what's really selling really well for me? Let's focus on those products. The ones that aren't selling great, that are sort of like holding up my inventory, like not letting me sell through, because the whole idea with Amazon, you want to just get in, get out, right? So you want to just send it in the warehouse and in fact, the way this works now, you can actually be out of stock before you actually get in the warehouse because people can buy your stuff ahead of time. It's kind of cool. So it's almost like you're prepaying or something. So anyway, my point is I need to probably say when I hit some numbers, I'm like, okay, am I good with this number now? I've hit 10,000, I've hit $15,000 profit. Maybe back off a little bit from adding new SKUs, adding new ASINs, and maybe just say, let's start taking some more. Let's focus on the ones I've got, the ASINs I've got, instead of trying to grow. Because what happens is I don't get in the weeds too much, but we can talk about this more in another podcast. But when you add new ASINs, I say ASINs, that's a new Amazon product. You have to get that, at least the way my strategy works, you have to get that ramped up and running. So sometimes it takes a little while, right? And then once you get it ramped up, it's good. But that takes money, takes investment. Sometimes you have to do some advertising. So if I already have 50 to 100 that are doing really, really well, maybe I back off from adding new ones and just make sure I keep the good ones in stock, because I've been running out of stock a lot of these items because they're selling so well. So I might just say, focus on the 80-20 rule, right? Focus on the ones that are really bringing the money. Those laggards, the ones that are not doing so great, maybe get those out. And the ones, maybe new products that might be interesting, I might want to try, maybe sprinkle those in, right? Take those, don't jump and add 20 or 30 a month, but maybe add those 5 a month, and just keep those revenues coming in. So still figuring all this stuff out, but that's kind of where I am right now.
Yeah, man, that's good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. I've got a lot of thoughts on that business stuff like that's really cool. I don't want to get in the weeds too far, but yeah, it seems like, we were talking earlier, you need to get your shelves stocked up, for the holidays. keep sending more and more product in. So I know you got to invest more and more money, of course, to get the product put in there. And then as you get kind of sell through this holiday season, you want your shelves to get kind of low. So that'll be more cash on hand for you to probably add a lot more ASINs, a lot more SKUs, if you will, stock keeping units. So, well, anything else on your numbers? Did you give your 30-day? I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did. 1,006. Like I said,
Okay.
it's still trending over 1,000. I'm not going to hit 1,000 in August, most likely. So it's just because.
Not with that attitude.
Hey, you know what? You're right. Things are turning around. I made 54. So if I have some good numbers the rest of the month, perhaps I will hit 1,000. Thank you so much for that, Jim Ed.
You're welcome, buddy. I'm in your corner. Well, as we record this, today is August the 22nd. We don't usually tell that, but I'm telling that today because it's one of those days that Amazon must have flipped a switch or turned a knob, because I have been rolling in the $30 to $130 range for a while. And for the longest time there, I was trending more in the $200 a day. My goal was, to be at 6,000 a month. I hit that a month, and then I had the next month I hit 5,500. So I fell a little short, but Andrew is going to go over my numbers in great detail with me and you, but with me as well, because I haven't gone over them with him. I am trending down. He has let me know that. I've been trending up in amount of videos, but trending really kind of down in the amount of sales, especially larger sales. So yeah, they twisted a knob, and now I made $490 yesterday. One of my probably all-time three highest days. It's not my highest days, but it's one of the higher days I've ever had.
What was your highest day about? Was it 700 something?
No, I haven't hit 700. It's in six something. I think it was like low sixes, 609 or 630. But yeah, so 490 was great. I've made up a lot of ground this month because I was way behind.
Yeah.
So in the week, so if I'm gonna do 6,000 a month, I need to get 1,500 a week or past 7 days. And right now with that 490, I'm trending at 1,322 for the week. So as you can imagine, having one day at $500 and still only not even coming close to trending to 1,500 means the other 6 days have been kind of low.
Would you say past 30 day was?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Getting ready to get to that. You ready for it? Any guesses?
Not really. Yes, now I'm ready.
Okay.
Any guesses? Past 30? I don't know.
Yeah.
Somewhere between, I'm going to say somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000.
Well, that's pretty broad.
Okay. Is it accurate or not?
As usual, you've underestimated me again. 4189 for the 30 days.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. Well, you put it in. Never mind.
I mean, I have to underestimate you because you overestimate yourself. I have to balance you out.
What do you think I've made so far in August?
Between 3,000 and 4,000.
3,109. You got that one right.
Right again. Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, for those football players out there listening, just want to say welcome. Welcome to our podcast.
Hey, Tim. Hey, Peyton.
Yeah. Anyway, so you just never know when someone famous is going to listen to your podcast. Maybe accidentally. They may have thought it was something else. There is someone out there it's a Side Hustle Heroes podcast, and someone's going to accidentally click and say, "What? This is I
thought this was Side Hustle Sports Heroes. What is this?"
Yeah, well, that's a totally different thought. This person who's doing the Side Hustle Heroes podcast, you might say, "Who are these guys trying to take over my?" No, we're Side Hustle Heroes HQ. Okay, so it's a little different than yours, and you'll find that headquarters makes us who we are. So, and we said James Brown's going to be HQ plus, so he's gonna do another one. So
yeah, James is on last week's podcast, and James is an awesome dude, man. He is easily entertained. I'll put it that way. Laugh his behind off loudly, and yeah, we're going to stick him in the background near somebody else's mic so you can hear him laughing in the background as we progress with our podcast.
And you guys might not know this. This is a guy that does a podcast with his glasses on. I can't even see the screen. I don't know why he does that. But there's a guy. Oh, you ever heard of Logan Wright? Did you know that Jim Ed actually has another son? Like, there's this guy named Devin that you've probably seen in the background sometimes. He has another son that's interested in Amazon influencers. Is Devin interested in Amazon influencers as well? He may be.
Maybe.
But Logan is apparently he's interested. So I'm really excited. You said he wasn't, and now he's telling me on text that he's very interested. Very, very interested. Although I haven't heard from him the last week or so. So anyway, but he's been binging our podcast like many people binge Netflix. So hey, for you guys who are binging binging our podcast, thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. So I would love to hear
good stuff, Andrew.
Okay, sounds good. You want me to get into the numbers, into my little stats here? All right, sounds good.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Well, you're going to really be at a disadvantage if you're listening to this because he's getting ready to share screen.
Yeah, well, we'll put those numbers on our Facebook group. Those numbers will only be unlocked if you get on our Facebook group. How's that sound?
Hey, and keep in mind, I am still going to do some of my stuff from China. I'm answering the Facebook question.
Yeah.
So let's wrap it up. So don't go to sleep during this, and if you do, just fast forward it about 3 or 4 minutes.
And by the way, I mentioned this last week that we're going to do a video about how to pull your reports like in real time, pretty much daily. Not daily, but today's reports, today's numbers. That I did link to a video from another group where a guy did that. So if you haven't seen that and you're interested in that, join our Facebook group. We have that poster. I'll go ahead and pin that thing. It's better than I can do. And his voice is DJ voice too. Voice is much deeper and richer than Jim Ed and myself. So don't fall in love with him. Many people have. Okay.
His name's Rich, I bet.
It may be, but his voice
is
just
rich.
Yes. All right.
My name's Rich.
So you look at these numbers, you're like, what the heck is all this? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just break these down. I look at numbers. My other job is looking at numbers all the time. And so analyze a lot of stuff. This is pretty interesting. So let's look at Jim Head real quick. This is June, July, and August. These are the numbers, June, July, and August. And for those that are listening, his numbers, this is a number of clicks per day. Okay, average number of clicks per day. So he went from 249 to 461 to 526. When I say that, I mean from June to July to August. So his clicks have been going straight up. Okay. So a little bit more growth from June and July, but in general, very healthy.
So again, 249 in June, 461 in July, and 526 in August so far, which this month is not finished. Yep. And that's clicks.
Right. And then we're looking at also average unit sales per day. So interestingly enough, in June, you're at 18 sales per day, 18 sales per day. In July, it jumped to 41. In August, it's exactly 41 still. That might go up because...
Oh, it's going to go up. I'll probably sell a couple more things for the month stuff.
And keep in mind, you might be like, it's not the end of August. So of course, the numbers are going to be, a little bit lower. No, this is average. These are averages. Okay. So it's already taken care of.
I see what you're saying.
These are not gross numbers. These are averages. So, but if Amazon, obviously the $50 days for me, the $400, if you get more of those, then it could go up. But anyway, interesting there. So far the story is clicks have been going up, which means you're doing a lot of videos. It's good. But however, the average unit sales per day kind of peaked, not really going up. They're still solid, but it's not going up as much as you think. There could be some products that are getting a lot more clicks. You said there was couple products that were getting a lot of clicks and not a lot of conversions, which could explain some of that. Okay, but either way,
but either way, I've lost a lot. Just having these smaller days, and it's probably again part of the seasonality of school starting, but that's not all of it. It can't be. It can't be that drastic. I don't think.
Now, the average income per day is what's really interesting. You'll see the average income per sale, per day. That's really what we're talking about. So average income is basically your commissions, right? Then I also said, well, what about, how does that, you're actually, this number here, 148 divided by 41, that's that number here. Am I doing that right? Yeah, that's correct. So that was interesting as well. So anyway, so the average income per day is actually 121 in June, 192 in July, and it dropped to 148 in August. Still above June, but not that far above June. For the number of clicks you're getting and the number of sales you're getting, surprisingly, your average income per day is not that much higher than it was in June even, which is interesting. And that's because...
not really. I totally understand those numbers because...
Really what?
Pardon?
not
Oh,
really.
it's not really surprising to me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Because you think about this, June, I started in March, April, May, June. So 90 days in, I'm really starting to hit my stride on a few things. Starting to make some sales, starting to figure some things out. June was a big month for me. I had some pool products that started hitting really nice. July, they did as well. So less items up. So daily unit sales are not up as high as they would be in July. I've added a lot more products in July. And then some of my larger products dropped off in July.
Right.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Higher priced products.
And the earlier on you are, the more expensive products you have on, because
at least
if you're doing it,
what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think most people are going to do that. You're going to look around the house first and go, let's hit the expensive stuff that we think is going to sell a lot first.
We talked about
And then as you add more products, you start getting to where you're adding, and like in your case, what was some of the small stuff? Oh, the extra gum, when you start adding the extra gum for less than $5, then, it really starts adding up on your amount of clicks and lowers your daily average income.
We can debate that. You did this, Jim, and not everyone's like you. Okay. So lots of people probably start because they're a little intimidated. They want to start with, I want to make a lot of sales. So I'm going to start with something simple. It's fine. It's fine. But you definitely started with the most expensive items. I did a little bit, but you did more than I did. So anyway, the point is you have some things that maybe some change. I said maybe some of your stuff has fallen off or shifted. And so right now you're selling a lot more things that are low price. Conversion rates have been you're really good in July. And so conversion rates are not, I think I've heard people say you want to be around 10%, but I think for you, where you're at 7% or higher seems to be working pretty well for you. You're at 8.8 in July. In August, you're at 7.8. So pretty decent still. So that's not really the cause of a big decline. Although you could say, well, you're a percentage lower conversion rate than you were in July. So that could be contributing a little bit. But I just think it's really the average per sale. The average income per sale is really where I see the biggest decline for you. You were at 688 in June. This is average income per sale. Okay. That means the 121 days, the $121 a day average divided by 18, divided by your sales in June, for instance, is 688. You're down to 474 in July. And then in August, you're 363. So 688 to 474 to 363. So definitely a steady decline in the average income per sale, which is pretty telling of where your overall revenue numbers are for the month of August. So kind of makes sense there. Cool. So pretty interesting stuff. So I think that the idea here is that, Jim Ed, keep putting videos up. You're going to have some interesting things going on with high price products, low price products, the mix changing over time. But in general, you have a lot of a lot of changes, interesting things here. Like there's not a lot of consistency with your term. The only thing I see consistent is your conversion rate probably, but everything else is your clicks are going up, but your other stuff's going down. So your numbers are very interesting for sure. So
the clicks are going up. I'm getting a lot of products from China, and they're all not $300 items. There's a lot of $20 to $80 items that I'm getting, and some of those are selling. Quite a few of those are selling. But as I keep adding lots and lots more product, I'm going to get more clicks, and my average unit sales are going to go up, but my income will not go up incrementally. It will go up lower because I'm diluting things with lesser costing products.
Yes, excellent. So guys, I think if this is hard for you to follow, just we'll post this in the Facebook group. I hope it was helpful. That there's several things. I'm not gonna get into my numbers right now. Let's get into the Facebook question here pretty soon. I can share my numbers more next week, but my numbers are very different than Jim Ed's. And so I think that the thing we want to get across with this is every person's numbers are gonna be different. It's not this systemic thing where Amazon's out to get us and they're changing things, and yet they are changing things, but the impact of where everyone's been going has been different. The impact is different on Jim Ed than it has been on myself, because there's so many variables that go into play with this. So I don't see anything that says we are doomed. There's no way we're going to be able to ever make money, a lot of money on Amazon influencers ever again. I don't feel doomed at all. I feel, if anything, these numbers feel pretty good. I feel like, okay, yes, Gym Ed's still getting a lot of clicks. If your clicks were going down, I'd be concerned. Be very concerned. But the fact you're going up, I feel good about that. So that's telling me that those videos are still out there. You're putting a lot more videos up. There's videos being shown. That makes me feel good about that. So when you have lots of clicks, those clicks will turn into, the more stuff you have out there, the clicks are going to turn into sales at a higher pace, certainly, than if you don't have any videos up, right? So, or not that many videos up. Cool. So let's get into the question. So we've continued to get people joining our Facebook group, and love when we get emails, love when we get posts, Facebook group. Sometimes they're really easy questions. Sometimes it takes a little bit more of, you know what, it's almost an injustice to answer this on Facebook. Let's answer the podcast. So for our listener out there, Jim, why don't you go ahead and say what his name is and say what his question is. And let's just try to get this, let's dedicate about, 5 or 10 minutes to this, and then we'll go ahead and just wrap it up.
Okay. Can you go ahead and kill the screen share?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we got the question from Chris T. And he said, Jim Ed, I would love to learn how you guys structure your brand collabs, payment, product, inventory, and or production schedule. So great question, Chris. We appreciate that. I did answer you back there on Facebook that we would cover this in the next podcast. Here we are. So how do I structure my brand collabs? Okay. So I basically just made myself available. So I have the YouTube channel. So some people have searched me out through the YouTube channel. I'll get an email. I've got an email in the description of my YouTube channel. And I'll get an email, something like, hey, we'd like to see if you'd be interested in a cooperation, is what a lot of times they say from China. They'll say, we want to do a cooperation with you, and they want you to do a YouTube video. So I have done a couple of those, especially early on after starting the Amazon program. But most of them, I'll go ahead and push them towards the Amazon influencer, because that's where I make my money. So I'll say, I will not do a YouTube video for you, but I am an Amazon influencer, and I would be happy to do an Amazon influencer review for you. And most of the time they'll come back with, yeah, they want to do that. So now we're starting a relationship. So I guess one of your questions too is like payments. A lot of times they get turned off quick because you don't have any kind of reputation with them when you start talking about how much you want to make on doing a review video for them. So I've talked to my wife about this as we're shooting videos over the weekend. Both Cody, Andrew compliment me on my videos, and I guess it's kind of like looking in the mirror. You don't see what everybody else sees, and a lot of times I just don't feel like, I'm not spending a ton of time on these videos. But we're kind of talking about it, and I guess just the nature of doing a lot of videos over the years, for me, I've gotten pretty decent at it. So even my mediocre work is fairly good. And that's what they're looking for true influencers. They're looking at somebody that's done a few reps. So how do I structure my payments? So usually what I'll do is I'll try to get a product that I'm interested in. If I'm not interested in the product, like I'll give an example. Somebody said, hey, I've got this light fixture to go over the Nook table. And I know I've mentioned this one, but it's such a good example, I'm going to mention it again. They said, can you do this? And it was the first product they'd ever asked me to do. And I already had several contacts that were sending me products. So it wasn't like I was really hurting for products. Now, if this is your first contact and you haven't had anything of value offered, you may want to just go ahead and take it, okay, if you can do it. So they said, hey, we need this installed. It needs to be installed over a table. We need to kind of show it, blah, blah, blah. And I told them, I said, I'm not really interested in it. I'm really too busy for that. That'll take a good amount of time. But keep me in mind on future things, because I can wire things in. So not everybody can do that. That is something that I can do. So they hit me right back and said, we'll pay you $70. And I said, okay, yeah, send it. And
money talks.
Again, what's that?
Money talks.
It does. And it also moves you up in the list. So moved them up in the list, knocked it out. and knocked it out pretty quick. They were extremely happy with the video. And I've had a lot of people comment on they're extremely happy with my videos.
Let me ask you this, Jim Ed. So what percentage of your videos that you're doing for these products, or what percentage of the products that you're doing, are you getting a payment for?
Excellent question. And that would be a guess, but I'll tell you this, I'm getting paid on a lot more products now than when I started. Okay. And here's the reason why.
Supply and demand.
Yes. And once I got started, I've talked to Cody about this, and I don't disagree with him. He thinks that they're sharing contacts a little bit over there. Like, hey, I got this guy here that's doing the videos, and maybe they know each other. So I've gone from having really one or two that was sending me nice products. I would get some that would doing inquiries about things. And I mean, it's stuff like kids paper party hats for $4. It's just goofy stuff that you could never make any money on. Party banners, and you look through their stuff and you're like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's weird stuff like the little buttons that pop out on tent stakes. Like they fit down into the tube and there's a spring in there that makes that little button pop and you can kind of push it in. And like those springs, it's like, oh my gosh, who would ever buy those? And if they did, I would make 14 cents. I'd be just ahead of your extra gum that you're promoting so hard. Hey, check in the show notes. There's going to be a link to extra gum. I'm just kidding. It's nice. So
it's a long-lasting flavor peppermint. It's a mega pack, I think it's called.
Nice, Andrew. Put that in the show notes.
Plastic's not very good for the environment. So I'm sorry, Mandy, my wife. I'm really sorry that I'm buying this gum. I didn't realize it had plastic.
Yeah, try to do better. So what I've done, I am overloaded with product coming in, and that's not to brag. It's where I'm at. I've counted them up. I've got about 14 different suppliers that's sending me pretty good quality products, throwing some stuff in front of me that I'm interested in. And you've got these people that's asking you about 3 or 4 products a day. You got, 10 of those people asking you every day and getting them shipped out pretty quick. It's pretty common to have about, I'd say, between 4 and 10 products showing up on the doorstep a day. And it is difficult to shoot really more than 20 products in a week. Or in a weekend. So what I have been doing now is, like you said, supply and demand. If it's a video that I can throw up here on the table and I can do a video on with no cuts. Hey, this is Jim Ed with the Improvement Channel. Today we're taking a look at this. And then we look at it, we talk about a couple features of it, and we wrap it up, our thoughts on it, and then we wrap it up and we're done. And then that can be uploaded straight from my camera app on my phone to Amazon. That product, that's free. I'll do that for free, especially if it's more than $20. Okay. We'll just put that on the video.
How do you know it's going to be easy to review? You just kind of look at it and say, yeah, I can knock that out pretty quick.
Yeah. Good question. So like I've got a laser level over here. That's going to be not easy because I need to kind of show like how you would use it a little bit. But I can probably set that up and get that in one shot, maybe with one stop and one start back, and then just tie those two together. Be pretty done. I'm looking over here at my products. I have I don't know why I accepted this because I'm sure I'm doing it for free, but it's a headlight sanding kit for when, one of our older cars, the headlights are a little bit, hazed over. That's going to take a little bit of time. It's outside. It's Texas, Dallas. It has been in the hundreds and somethings over here, all the way up to around 108, 110. And that is a Saturday morning early project. And I haven't gotten to it. The good news on that is I've gotten 2 of them from 2 different suppliers. So those videos are going to be very similar. They will not be identical, but they'll be done at the same time and somewhat similar. Okay. I've got some grill covers. Those are quick and easy. That's an easy one. But when you start getting into a ceiling fan, like I did on Saturday, you are going to suck up an hour on that video. Luckily it was a ceiling fan that was an upgrade for our living room. I did it for free. think it was $160 after discounts. So and they probably sell a lot of ceiling fans. So, it's like there could be some money made there. So, again, that's a free one. But like that little light, I didn't really need that light, stuff like that. I try to charge for.
Hard to answer. It's not like a hard to answer question then, but I kind of get what you're saying. You have to just.
Well, you did that printer. You did that printer review for me because you wanted that printer. It was an expensive printer, but it took you a little bit of time, didn't it?
It did. So I think so. It sounds like, just to recap, sounds like if the product is a high priced product, you're more comfortable not really. Well, if it's high price and it's not that difficult to do a video, you probably aren't going to ask for any money for that.
So let me put this differently.
Let's say that's the most important part, like the answer. It's like the percentages or whatever, but ultimately, so people who are in this situation, they find themselves with all these product opportunities from these suppliers, and they're just like, man, what do I do here? That's important. The other thing too, I want to make sure that, we're getting close to the end. Like, how are you keeping organized? I know you mentioned you're going to start doing, I mentioned a spreadsheet. You can do a spreadsheet. You're doing something to really keep organized. So I think that would be really helpful to our listeners.
So I'm doing and I don't really want to show off the details on this, so I'm going to hold it back a little bit, but I'm doing a Cabana board. So these are products in this column over here that I have approved to be shipped. Okay. Sometimes this app does that. The only way to do it is to kill it. Let me kill it real quick and start it back. Okay. So these are all, every little board is different products that I have approved. If it's in green, I'm getting paid on it.
Okay.
So these are some cabinet latches that fit inside of an RV cabinet so that the doors don't fly open while you're driving down the road. And they're paying $20 for that. That's in my wheelhouse. I can knock out that video, including edits, in 15 minutes.
Is all the information in there, like basically what they want, like,
okay,
they want this in this video, who's the contact?
Thank you.
Is that all in there?
Very good question. Okay. Thank you. Yes. The thing was, when I had one or two different suppliers, I think this one sent it. I looked through there, and the thing is, it's like looking through text message. You're not going to go, oh, there it is right there. You're going to have a lot of back and forth. They want this, they want that. So you're scrolling and scrolling, and then to find out that it wasn't that one of 11 different ones for me that's supplying products. When you've got one or two that you're working with, this is not needed.
Right.
But when you've got 11, yes. So this says Jasmine. So Jasmine's the one that sent me this. So if I need to go back and ask Jasmine a question, I can. And what I've been doing to up my game for them to make me even more valuable to them is, once this video moves over from approved product to received product, and then from received product to urgent or on deck, meaning these are the ones I need to do next, to video started, to needs edit. So like, I've done several videos over the weekend, and see, all of these boards are videos I've done that need to be edited.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised when you start doing this many videos, how the videos will end up on your camera, not done.
Yeah.
And if you're doing your own product, unfortunately, it's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. What'll happen with me is, if it doesn't get done, somebody from China is going, hey, we sent you this product. Where's the video? So then you're like, oh, I thought I did that. And you look back and you go, oh, I did it. Yeah. Or, oh, I did it, and I've uploaded it to my video editor, but I haven't finished the edit, or I haven't taken the edit from the video editor and uploaded it to Amazon. So there is a little bit of work to this, but so, you go through here and you see all of the products that I've approved, and sometimes they don't send you everything, but I'd say about 90% of the time they do. And see, it just keeps on going. So, and then here's the products that I've received. And then the beautiful thing about it, let me pick something I don't mind sharing too much. Yeah, here we go. So this one come from Amber, and Amber sends me, she's one of my top suppliers. We go back and forth on WhatsApp. And then what I can do here, so here's the thing. You do the video, the season basket. I can go over here and grab that thing. I can do the video. Well, what's required? I don't know. I don't know what's required.
You
put it all in here. If there's any, if there's any requirements, it'll be right here on this board.
Nice.
And the beauty of it is too, the other thing is, well, I got to go find the exact link. You know, I talked earlier, you'll get somebody will say something when you put it on the wrong link. Well, that's just not professional either. I've done that 3 or 4 times. It's just not professional. So here I can click on this and I can go open link. And the beauty of it is here, I'm opening this link. It's showing the product. Okay. It's a $201 cabinet thing that goes under your cabinet to pull it out. So there's a little bit to install that, but it's $200. So that's good. And there was over 100 viewed in the past month. How many was purchased? You know, I don't know. But the point is, now that I've opened this, when I'm on my computer getting ready to upload it, I can hit browse history, and this will be the first product that comes up for me to tag. So just imagine you've shot the video, you missed a couple of things because you didn't read the requirements, and then you go to upload the video, and Amazon's got 15 different brands of that sort of product, and you don't know which one it is. So now you've got to go back to the Instagram or the WhatsApp and start thumbing through and finding 1 out of 11 different suppliers that could have sent that to you. It was taking up way too much time. I've been doing this for a week is all. And it's been a game changer as far as getting things done. I woke up this morning early, couldn't sleep, woke up at about 4:30. Usually get up around 6. The wife gets up at 5. So I was like, well, I've got an hour and a half before I have to get up. I got up and had a list of videos that needed to be edited. I edited 5 videos and uploaded them this morning. So just if I wasn't organized like that, like that now, I wouldn't be able to do that. So that's kind of how I do most of it. Let me check real quick, Andrew, unless you have a question, if Chris had anything else that I needed to cover.
Now, I got a suggestion too.
Yeah.
We can probably, we're running long here again, and you guys who are hanging in there with us, really appreciate it. We don't mean to go over so long, over an hour. We just have a lot of things to talk about, but we could probably finish this up if you have some more things to finish up. And Chris, feel free to let us know if there's, if you have some additional questions. But I think there's probably a little more you can talk about in this area. So maybe we can plan on talking about that, finishing up next podcast.
That sounds good. Let's do this. I'll just hit the other questions, and then Chris, why don't you hit me back on Facebook, or if anybody else has any questions related to any of the specifics, because I did cover a lot there. The product inventory is pretty much held right there on that board. I do have a shop that is air conditioned. Luckily, I put air conditioning in. It's 1,200 square feet, and that's a pretty comfortable place to do reviews. So that's nice. And then the production schedule is another thing he was asking about. That is also on that Cabana board as well. And yeah, works really well.
And I was going to add also, this is something I didn't realize, and I should have known better, but whenever, you make the deal and they say we're going to send the product to you, I figured, I got like 20, 30 days, it's going to be coming from China. He goes, it's not coming from China.
Nope.
It's coming from Amazon, because this product is already, it lives there. It's already in Amazon's warehouse. And I know that going to do it. Amazon FBA. It's in all likelihood, it's either FBA, Amazon's going to ship it to you, or there's someone here in the United States that can just basically send it to you.
I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. There's a warehouse here. There's a warehouse here that it's either Amazon's warehouse or someone else's warehouse, that the company you work with that sends it to you. So that's
the reason I say that, Andrew. I think you're right. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was wondering about it.
It doesn't really matter, but go ahead.
It don't matter. Let's move on.
Right. My point is, it gets here quickly. So when you say yes, get ready. You're going to be doing a review pretty soon. Okay. So they're going to send it to you. And I've had this a couple of times where it's like, did you get the product? Yeah, I got it. Okay. When are you going to do the review? Soon, couple days. What's a couple days? So they expect you to get it done. I'm sure the people do follow up with well, Jim Ed. So it's like, we're giving you something for free. You need to review this. And I don't get into the weeds, but there's situations where if you lose the product or you forget where it is or something happens, it's like, where is that? They're not going to be like, oh, no problem, we'll send another one to you. It's annoying. It's like I said, it's not professional, right? So I think I don't know how you do it, Jim Ed. I'm not sure if I'm envious of you. In some ways I am. It's a lot of work, but here's the thing, you know what you're signing up for, right? You may actually not realize it until you saw that big room full of just boxes, or all those things were coming in. You're like, holy crap. But you've got a system now. You're enjoying the fruits of this. You're going to probably make some money, right? Reselling some of this stuff. That's stuff that you're not really interested in using. So it's good. Anyway, that's good. But we can talk about this more. This is an ongoing conversation because you continue to be doing this. And so this is great. I'm glad that you're doing this because a lot of people are going to be really interested in how can they get into this to scale. So I think
so Andrew, that's good stuff. The thing that we need to do next week, because you did mention losing stuff. There's a specific story that he knows about that. Except Andrew doesn't know there is an update to that story, and it's a very interesting update.
Cliffhanger.
So let's do that on next podcast for sure. And just remind me so I don't forget to tell you that story. It's a pretty good one.
Thank you for those who provide their email address when they join our Facebook group. You can find us on Side Hustle Heroes HQ, our Facebook group. That's where you can find. Yes, we should be in there more often than we are, Jim Ed, but we're going to continue to, as you guys join, I want you guys to have conversations with each other, but we will continue to post some nuggets there. We do have a cheat sheet we're working on. It's like, why, that's your email address is there. We'll also add you to our database where we can communicate with you what's going on. We might have a course coming up at some point here soon as well. So anyway, join our group. There's lots of good stuff going on. It's not all on us though. We want you guys to be active. When new people are joining, would love for you to be able to, encourage them as well, not just us. It's a Facebook group of everybody. We are the facilitators, but we'd love to hear from you. So thank you guys. If you want to be on our podcast, please let us know. That's a question when you join the group. Do you want to be in the podcast? Think twice before you answer that question because we'd love to be able to have you on there. Whether you're a seasoned podcast, which you probably aren't, seeing podcaster, guest or not, we'd love to have you on. And that's about it. So thank you again for everyone listening to the podcast. Anything else, Jim Ed, in closing?
Yeah, man, absolutely. You can find us on YouTube at Side Hustle Heroes HQ. TikTok, same place, Side Hustle Heroes HQ. Facebook page at Side Hustle Heroes HQ. Facebook group. Did I say it wrong again, Andrew?
Let's stop saying this. The Facebook group is where the action is. Okay, so the rest of the stuff. Listen to his podcast. You're not gonna get much from the other stuff. This is on video on Spotify. They've worked their kinks out, so now the kinks out of this. So now you can see the video. You can hear the audio on Spotify. YouTube, we have it there, but unless that's your favorite platform, you can find us on YouTube. You're not going to find our podcast anywhere else.
And you're putting clips up on YouTube some too, like that. Yeah, like that gold I just laid out there about the China.
This is something. Right? You'll see some clips on there. It's something that I've been inconsistent with it. Social media is not my favorite thing to do. This is a lot more fun. But I would love if anyone's really interested in doing editing and can crank out stuff quickly.
Yeah, we're hiring.
Yeah, give us a call. What does this mean? Yeah, give us a call. There you go. Give us a call or email us because
we're hiring remote interns currently.
We are?
Actually, yes, absolutely.
We have a what do you call those interns that you don't pay them to help you? We have a great
interns. I call them remote interns. Exactly.
Yes. So if you're looking for some great experience with some of the top podcasters in Garland and Forney.
Yeah, if you're looking for some great experience with some top podcasters, good luck. But we're hiring. They're not. So keep that in mind.
All right. Good stuff. Yes. Sorry again for going long, but
that's enough.
What are you going to do?
Good stuff. Love you. Later.
Love you too. Bye-bye now.